John Deere just made a move that sent shockwaves through Washington, and Donald Trump is not taking it lightly. With the company pushing forward on overseas expansion despite fierce warnings from the White House, the battle lines are being drawn between one of America's most iconic brands and the United States president. Trump promised to punish Deere with massive tariffs, and now that he's back in power, he's making good on that threat. So why is Deere ignoring the White House threats? And could Deere's defiance backfire? In this video, we will break down this explosive political and economic standoff, look at what's really driving Deere's overseas move, and explore how Trump's response could shake up the future of American manufacturing. Let's dive in. When Donald Trump stood on a Pennsylvania stage during his 2024 campaign trail and threatened John Deere with a 200% tariff if they dared ship overseas-made products back into the US, many thought it was just another rally moment, loud, attention-grabbing, but ultimately symbolic. Fast forward to now, with Trump back in the Oval Office, that threat isn't just talk anymore, it's turning into policy. Earlier this month, the White House confirmed that the administration is actively working with the US Trade Representative to draft targeted tariff regulations specifically aimed at punishing companies that abandon American soil. And yes, John Deere is at the center of it. The proposed policy would place a 200% import tax on any John Deere agricultural machinery manufactured in their new overseas facilities, a move the company greenlit last year as part of a global restructuring strategy. Trump isn't just talking about a policy shift, he's framing it as a cultural one. In a recent press briefing, he called Deere's expansion into India and Brazil a slap in the face to American workers and accused the company of selling out the very farmers who made them great. That's not just rhetoric, it's strategy. Trump is tapping into the deeply personal connection between John Deere and his rural voter base, many of whom see the green and yellow logo as more than just a brand. It's tradition, it's pride, and to them, Deere shifting production abroad feels like betrayal. John Deere isn't just some faceless corporation to rural America, it's the tractor their grandfather used, the combine that runs every harvest, the name on the parts they trust. For decades, the company has been woven into the identity of American farming, and now Trump is drawing a sharp line. You're either with American jobs or against them. Interestingly, Deere's own numbers show just how big this fight could get. In 2024, international operations accounted for over 38% of the company's revenue, a figure that's been climbing as they chase growth in emerging markets. With that much of their business depending on overseas production and sales, Trump's tariffs aren't just symbolic, they're a loaded weapon pointed directly at Deere's bottom line, and he's not backing off. According to insiders, the administration is also floating additional restrictions on federal contracts for companies outsourcing manufacturing, another gut punch that could affect Deere's lucrative government and military equipment deals. The goal is clear: pressure Deere until it folds or pays the price. However, Deere doesn't seem ready to step back, and that sets the stage for a high-stakes standoff that's becoming more personal, more political, and far more unpredictable. Donald Trump might be firing every political cannon he has, but John Deere isn't blinking. Even as the White House rolls out new tariffs and threatens to cripple any American manufacturer that shifts production abroad, Deere is moving full speed ahead with its expansion into Mexico and South America. They've done the math, read the room, and made a call. Global growth beats political pressure. Last month, Deere executives confirmed they are proceeding with the controversial decision to relocate a portion of their tractor and combine manufacturing to Monterrey, Mexico. This move had been in the works since 2023, but it was quietly re-emphasized in a recent investor call even after Trump's tariff policy officially kicked in. When asked about the risks of retaliation, Deere's CEO said Deere is a global company operating in over 30 countries, and the company's goal is to serve customers where they are in a way that keeps it competitive and sustainable. That's corporate speak for "we're not changing course." Behind the bold front is a very calculated economic play. Deere's cost of manufacturing in the US has ballooned over the past 5 years, driven by higher wages, strict environmental regulations, and a supply chain still limping from post-pandemic disruptions. Mexico, on the other hand, offers lower labor costs, closer proximity to Latin American markets, and far more relaxed compliance requirements. According to internal estimates leaked in early 2025, the move could cut per-unit manufacturing costs by up to 17%. Even with Trump's threatened 200% tariffs on imported goods, Deere's leadership appears confident that the long-term savings and access to emerging markets will more than make up the difference. It helps that demand in countries like Brazil and India is booming. Brazil's agri-sector grew over 10% last year, and India is on track to become the world's largest agricultural equipment market by 2030. Deere wants that slice of the pie, and they're not going to forfeit it for politics. Their strategy also signals something deeper. They're betting that global forces, economic, technological, demographic, are more powerful than any single administration, and unless the US can radically shift its industrial landscape, Deere's global play might not just be smart, it might be survival. On any given day, farmers are already juggling enough chaos, fuel prices, droughts, equipment breakdowns, and global commodity prices. Now, throw a political threat into that mix, and it's no wonder so many of them feel like pawns in a fight that isn't theirs. The standoff between Donald Trump and John Deere is no longer just a headline. It's become a problem with real consequences on the ground, especially for the people who rely on the green and yellow machines to survive. If Trump follows through and current signals from the administration show he will, his 200% import tariff on John Deere equipment made overseas could drive machinery prices through the roof. And for many farmers already buried under rising input costs, that's a blow they simply can't absorb. A brand new combine today already runs over $600,000. If Deere passes the full cost of the tariff onto buyers, which most analysts expect, that price tag could soar past $1 million. That's not just inflation, that's devastation. For smaller and mid-sized farms, especially the ones operating on thin margins, the impact could be immediate and painful. They'll either be forced to buy used equipment in a market where prices are already inflated, or switch to unfamiliar brands like Kubota or Mahindra, which often lack the support infrastructure and integration Deere customers rely on. Worse, switching could mean losing access to Deere's proprietary software systems, technology many farms are now built around. Some farmers are already calling for a boycott. Facebook groups with tens of thousands of members have popped up in recent weeks, urging fellow growers to buy American and punish Deere for outsourcing. The threat of hyperinflation isn't far-fetched either. If farm machinery costs spike, production costs follow, and that can ripple through the entire supply chain, from harvest to grocery store shelves. Food prices could surge, supply could tighten, all because of a political standoff. However, this isn't the first time tariffs were meant to bring jobs home, but ended up doing the opposite. So let's unpack how past policies backfired, and why this new wave could hurt the very people it claims to protect. When Trump's trade war kicked off in 2018, the idea sounded straightforward: punish foreign competitors, level the playing field, and bring American jobs back home. What actually happened was far messier. US companies faced higher input costs, retaliatory tariffs hit American exports, and corporate confidence in the stability of doing business inside the US took a noticeable hit. Fast forward to today, and we're seeing the same strategy, only this time the target isn't China or the EU. It's an iconic American company. John Deere has found itself back in the political crosshairs, and Wall Street is watching closely. Since Trump revived the tariff playbook in early 2025, Deere's stock has been riding waves of volatility. In early March, following an announcement that the White House was moving ahead with penalties on offshored agricultural equipment, shares of Deere dropped nearly 4% in a single day. It wasn't just investor panic, it was a signal. When the government starts picking fights with its own multinational giants, confidence erodes, and so does market value. Analysts have been blunt about the consequences. This is not just about one company. If Deere becomes a cautionary tale, you're going to see a chilling effect across the board. Multinationals will start asking themselves whether operating in the US is worth the political risk, and there's precedent for that fear. After Trump's 2018 steel and aluminum tariffs, major manufacturers from Harley-Davidson to Whirlpool began shifting production abroad, not because they wanted to, but because they had to. The same thing is unfolding now. Today's companies are navigating even more complex global markets, and when government policy becomes unpredictable or punitive, relocation stops being a choice and becomes a necessity. For companies like Deere, who operate on thin margins and depend on tight supply chains, certainty matters. With every new round of tariffs, the message being sent is clear: the US might not be the friendliest place to grow a business anymore. And the more that message takes hold, the more companies will begin mapping exit routes, not just to save money, but to survive the politics. So what's your take on this showdown? Is John Deere making the right move, or is Trump right to push back? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear what you think. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe for more stories that cut through the noise. Until next time, stay sharp and stay curious.